Mm. Ahoy! Haven't done a video for a little while, so I felt, might as well do one. Still sticking with the old Russian fishing at the moment. Although, politely, I do have a cup of tea to drink. Okay, so we have a quick look at the cottage pond. Nothing fancy. It's the first unlocked waters of the game. You'll get little things like Guyball, Crucian, roach, and that sort of thing. Nothing major to begin with. The most important part of the cottage pond is the house, where it allows you to obtain spare free gear by walking up to it and using the appropriate prompt. Nothing major to really look at, but it's somewhere to get started. So let's move on to the next map, which is Mosquito Lake. Some players will become familiar with Mosquito quite well. However, I'm not really one of them. But it's important to take on board that Mosquito Lake has the first set of accessible shops within the game. So you've got your cafe. Your cafe will basically give you sort of a mini competition. Sort of try and get these within the allotted time period. Hand them in. You get a little bit bonus cash. You got a boathouse there for trolling, basically drifting around on a boat, dragging a lure around to try and catch whatever is interested. For the New Year's event, they normally hold a little fishing challenge on the piers, trying to catch effectively presents and junk out of the river. Lake. Right, getting mixed up there already. But yeah, you got other little shops, tackle shop as well, the admin building and the grocery. Okay, so on to Winding Rivulet. Winding Rivulet has basically got the same sort of setup with shops. You got your fish market and your cafe starting off, and then you've got your administration, so you can buy your map. You got your tackle shop. You also have a free food wagon. Once every 24 hours in game, it allows you to get a free meal, which basically gives you a full food bar. There's one or two shops around the back. One of them being the farmer's market. The farmer's market is kind of an important one because it allows you to get your feed and eggs for bait making and ground bait making. These are the two most commonly used items I found, especially when you get onto the higher levels of bait making. You'll spend probably 3,000 or 4,000 silver in eggs. I'm not kidding. Anyway, so let's have a quick wander around the map and see what we can find for spots. I'm going to wait till daylight comes up. Okay, so to begin with, a few little nice spots on Rivulet. We've got a nice spot up here to the left-hand side of the bridge. This is quite a good place to start with the telestick. You can spin for perch and pike in this area. However, the pike do get a bit large for the freebie set that you'd get from the cottage pond. But with float fishing, practically you get bleak, dace, mainly little things, but nothing really wrong with that. One of the best methods I found up here is basically just drifting the float along on the shortest length. Worm works okay. I personally use fly, but you have to go and buy some of them from the shop first. Okay, so another nice beginner spot would be off the bridge here. You can do the same sort of thing, drifting the short distance with the telestick. However, off the bridge it's far better to use the spinner. Basically just cast out wind your rod in. You might need to speed your retrieval up. Certain fish like a little more of a challenge. Bolognesing from this bridge is pretty good as well. However, as a beginner, you won't have a bolognese rod yet. Let's go to another nice little spot. Okay, so there's another spot along Rivulet called the Damned Valley, which is basically an oxbow lake formed along the side of the river. What's nice about this area is the water is still. It's not flowing at all. You don't have any drift on floats. When you cast, you'll have static float. What's nice about this area, though, is it can be quite deep in places and shallow in others. If you're trying to catch frogs, there's this little patch along the left side here. Well, basically, you've got a little bit of pondweed. Nice short length in there. Worm and fly are pretty good for catching frogs. Don't expect miracles, but you will generally catch little things in there. You might get the odd bleak in there as well. Weeds are a nice place to get hooked, so try and avoid them. But follow the oxbow around a bit, and you'll have this spot. This is 9112. This is quite a nice area to start bottom feeding. For example, where's it gone? So, basically you've immediately unlocked your simplest possible bottom feeder rod. Casting out into the middle will typically get you something. It's good for guyball and crucian. You can float fish in here as well. Yet again, don't expect miracles. The best place to aim if you're bottom fishing, though, will be out for the deepest spot in the middle. You'll get some fairly reasonable sized, for beginners anyway, little crucians and guyball. It's a good place to get a little bit of silver. Okay, whilst I'm also standing here, oh, damn, got a catch. Yep, out with, oh, look at that nice little frog. Not bad for size 20 on bloodworm. At least that saved me a bait fish. But on the subject of bait fish, fishing in this hole can be quite advantageous. If you're using cottage stove bait, the fastest rate I've ever found for catching small bait fish size crucian and guyball are literally in this hole. So bear that in mind for later game. Right, let's pick up these rods and let's wander off to the next little spot. I don't think I've got anything else on the hook here. Okay, so another nice little spot we've got is 99108, which is practically standing on the end of this little pier. Spin fishing down the river, you'll catch perch and pike. Pike not as much, perch maybe. You do run the risk of catching chub along this side. Chub get to a good 2 kilos. So be warned about that. Okay, so another nice spot other players have told me about. I mean, I got introduced to this one a while back. A lovely little location known as the Bleak Tree, which is this little tree that sticks out over the water here at 106, 112. 112, 122. Okay, This is a nice little spot I found. You can spin for your various basic spin fish, heading towards the bushes on the far side over there. Can't guarantee what you'll catch. You'll probably catch perch and I know there's a lot of bottom fish chub over there, so you've got to be careful about them. I've recently spoken to a day one player who caught nearly 2 kilos of chub on, maybe the first half an hour down here, and he was pretty freaked out about it. He did enjoy the fight, I will admit, but yes, catching that sort of size chub on the telestick isn't that much fun. So now to the main point of why we call this the bleak tree. If you're using flies on a small hook whilst underneath this tree, and you're basically drifting your float along, you will quite happily see the bleak biting. There's a bleak. There's another bleak. And another bleak. Notice a lot of them seem to be picking up under the tree. And again, under the bleak tree. Okay, so let's go and wander on a bit more. Now, the Big Bend in Rivulet. Lovely place this. This is home to a lot more predatory species of fish. You'll catch things like zander, burbots, plenty of perch in this area. Specifically the spot 120, 120 is the one that interests me, wherever it is, it's around here. Which is quite a nice little area, especially for bottom fishing. You can catch pike round here by spinning. The zander are more interested in being bottom fed. Perch are just a pain in the bum. They're literally everywhere. However, if you look over towards this branch here, standing on 120, 120, if you're bottom feeding with size 16 and bloodworm, you have quite a good bite rate of white eye bream. Some players have been known to catch their qualification white eye bream at this location, so it's quite a nice little spot. Okay, a little further up the river, we've got 113, 107, aiming at the tree roots on the other side. If you cast out in the middle with bolognese or float in general, you'll end up with a nice mixture of dace. Rough and I think Donit's rough lurk around here. If you're bottom feeding with small hooks and small baits, there can be quite a nice income of silver made from them. Let's go further along. This whole bottom end of the river basically is pike territory. Some of the largest pike on Rivulet have been caught around here. Basically, the furthest you can go along the map is the tree that's bridging across the river, but you can only stay on this side of the bank. So I'm going to finish with a few clips of things being caught in various places. So thanks for watching. We got here. Ooh. Here we go.